Welcome to this week's Thoughtful Thursday and the last episode of Everyday Alex for 2019. I just want to say, firstly, thank you so much, everyone that's been supporting this vlog over the last 3 months or so. When we launched the vlog, it felt quite ambitious to go daily. And as many of you will be aware, we moved from 7 days a week to 5 days a week halfway through this first kind of 3 months. And I'm kind of amazed really by the response that we have had. I know that for a number of people, this has become a kind of daily habit, vlogging, following this vlogging and podcast series. And I'm really grateful to have had the opportunity to be able to support people in this way. One of the challenges of working one-on-one as a practitioner is you can only work in that way with one people at a time. And I love running programs like the Reset program, where I can work with a larger group of people in an online format. But knowing that for people that either can't afford a program like that, or it's not the right time for a program like that, to just be able to put content out there in the way that we do and have the response that we have, I really appreciate it. And I don't take for granted people giving us their time and their attention in such a consistent, regular way. So thank you. And in today's episode, I just wanted to offer some thoughts and some ideas to best help people through the holiday season. I know that be it Christmas and New Year, be it different holidays, be it you have a different faith and you follow different holidays in the year, I know those times can be particularly challenging when you are on a healing journey from fatigue or nervous system sensitivity or whatever it may be. So I just wanted to offer some ideas. And the first thing is, I think it's important to recognize that it can be tough. I think we can have this idea that it's the holiday period and everyone else is happy, and if we're having a difficult time, we're the only one and there's something wrong with us. And actually, one of the things that's interesting when you do this job, when you work as a practitioner, is you hear that many people struggle with the holiday period. People struggle for different reasons. People struggle because physically the demands are too much. Other people struggle because they have to spend time around the people which are the biggest sources of pain and difficulty in their kind of inner life. People struggle because of food issues, and we touched on that in yesterday's Wellness Wednesday. People struggle also, particularly I think with the new year, that it's the end of another year and the start of a new year. And if life isn't going the direction we want it to go in, it can feel kind of overwhelming, and the pressure of things to change and to be different. So if you are struggling, either you're watching this during the holiday season or in the kind of build up towards the holiday season, you're not alone, and there's nothing wrong with you. It's completely reasonable to be having a tough and difficult time. Knowing that we're not alone, I think, can be helpful sometimes. And sometimes the more time we spend around people, for example, family, which are not on the journey with us, it's almost like the more time we're with people, the more isolated and the more alone we can sometimes feel. Because in a sense, what we're doing is we're kind of having more and more reminders that the life that we're drawn towards, or the life that we're not drawn towards but living, is different to the life of others. And so making time to connect with ourselves and making space for our feelings and connecting with others that are on the same path of us, be that online, be that via WhatsApp or text message or email, but having a community of people around us which are on the same path, I think can be helpful and supportive. The next thing is be proactive and do the best you can to set things up to win. So if, for example, you know that, let's say it's Christmas Day and you're going to spend time with family, or family are coming to spend time with you. And let's say that you're at the point on the recovery path where you really need to have rest in the day, or you need to have time away to calm your system. Frame it in advance. So rather than spending time waiting, thinking, will I, won't I? What will people think? How am I going to explain it? Everyone's getting a bit more drunk. It's a bit more tricky to kind of do that. I would right up front, I would send an email to the people that are coming, or I would text message, or I would call, or at the start of the day, I would get it out of the way and I would say, I just want to let you know, as you're probably aware, I'm on this healing path, and it's really important that I manage my energy levels and I take some time out to rest. And if you're at someone else's, you arrange where that may be that you can do that. Knowing that you've scheduled in advance the time and the support that you will need will take some of the pressure away. It will allow you to relax into it a little bit more. And then it may be you're having such an amazing time and your body's like, do you know what, today it's okay to keep going. And then you don't use that rest. But by arranging it in advance, you know that you have the option, and then it takes that pressure away from you. The next thing is to ask for help. One of the things that Kirsty said yesterday in Wellness Wednesday is people are often saying, how can I help you? How can I support you? And often we don't really know what the answer to that question is. Well, there may be very clear things that they can do around the Christmas and New Year period. Maybe they can pick you up and drop you home to save you having to drive somewhere. Maybe they can, as we talked about yesterday, cook you a gluten-free, sugar-free pudding. Maybe it's making sure you have that time to rest. Maybe it's reminding you to go and have that rest. Maybe it's having presents that are going to be supportive to your recovery, or something that you've really longed for or wanted. Like, whatever it may be, this is the season of giving. It's also the season, therefore, of asking and doing what you can. Obviously, being respectful and understanding of others' kind of realities and needs, but asking for what you will most help and most support you having the best holiday period you can is an act of self-care. It's an act of love towards yourself. The next thing is to practice tolerance. One of the things that is Christmas, New Year, holiday times are a kind of odd thing where suddenly we're all in a room together with people that we sometimes have difficult, tricky history with. Everyone often is drinking, and so people are a little bit looser sometimes in their tongues. People are overeating. It's often quite stressful for those organizing and preparing and getting things ready. And so sometimes people say things that they shouldn't be saying. And it's very easy to take those things to heart and to be reactive and to be triggered. And I'm a great believer that there are times to speak our truth, and there are times to say things that are tricky and awkward to say because we need to stand up for and protect ourselves. And other times, practicing tolerance and letting things pass is actually much easier and more skillful. There is no kind of blanket answer for everyone, but more often than not, I would say it's not the time to have these explosive, complicated, tricky conversations. In the Facebook Live that I did, I think it was last year or the year before, for Optimum Health Clinic, we'll put a link where we can below. I did a video called Surviving Christmas, and I taught people through a kind of guided visualization of how to not take on other people's stuff. It's a bit crude, the language, but it's a really effective and helpful visualization. So practice tolerance. See if you can care for yourself. Like, don't just reject your own truth without being so triggered and reactive by others. Finally, this is a kind of odd thing to say, but realize it will pass. If Christmas and New Year or the holiday period is feeling really tricky, either it's feeling overwhelming physically or it's feeling overwhelming emotionally, and you're having a hard time, it will pass. Overall, it's a week period in the year. It's 2% of the year. It might feel like a massive thing, but actually sometimes it's like when you're running a marathon. Not that I'm supposing you run a marathon. If you can run a marathon, it doesn't matter how many times you give up along the way, as long as you keep putting one foot in front of the other. Might be the same strategy for Christmas and New Year. Doesn't matter how many times you want to give up on Christmas and New Year. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Listen to your body. Ask for help. Be proactive where you can. Realize you're not alone. Understand that there's lots of people that it's tough and it's challenging for. See it as an opportunity to practice self-care. And if your tools go out the window for a while, that's fine. You just have to do what you can to get back on track as soon as you can afterwards. And please, remember, there's a whole library of content we've been building over the last 3 months. And if you're struggling, dip into a recovery story, dip into a therapeutic Tuesday, watch one of the Thoughtful Thursdays that resonates. So use the materials that are here. This is why we've created them, to help and support you. And it may be you're watching this and going, Alex, this is complete nonsense. I love Christmas and New Year. It's the best time of year, in which case I don't even know how you got to this point in the video. This may not be relevant for you. But for a lot of people, I know it can be challenging. So I hope that's been helpful. Thank you again for your support and for following the vlog and the podcast over the last 3 months. I am super excited for our plans for 2020. We are just getting started with this vlog and podcast. And I think many of you know we've just started filming some of these in-depth therapeutic journeys. Oliver starts full-time on the project on the 6th of January. The vlog will be back that week. It may start on the 6th, it might be the 7th or the 8th. We've just got to start getting the content kind of lined up. I am very much looking forward to taking a couple of weeks completely off. It's the one holiday of the year that everything for me really does stop. I get very little email. I tend to not even look at my email. Everyone else stops at the same time. And I have to say, I do love Christmas and New Year for that. And as much as I've really appreciated the support and I've really enjoyed the vlog and podcast, it'll be nice not to be staring at a camera for a few weeks and just have some space and time as well. There might be some bits and pieces that we'll post towards social media. The channels probably will go quite quiet because the team are all taking time off as well. So we will, for future years, I think, try to kind of stockpile and build some content in advance. But it's been such a mission to just keep posting on a daily basis that I don't think we've got much lined up. So if the channels go quiet, that's why. But it's a great time, as I've been saying, to go through the library and the archive of content. Thanks again, everyone, for your support. And I super look forward to continuing our journey together in 2020.